Welcome to another episode of Hip Hop Who's Podcast. I am your host, Anthony Ighodaro. Listen, we appreciate everybody who's been supporting us. Continue to keep supporting us on the website. Book us live for all your events. You know we're a vibe. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. I want to shout out to my partner, Woods. He's not here right now. He's in Vegas doing big things. But business got to be done. We got a very special guest today. Mr. Nicholson is in the building, guys. Andrew Nicholson.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me on the show. I know it's been a while. We've been trying to get this going. I'm finally here now.
We've been definitely trying, you know. We've reached out to you on Instagram. We weren't successful, but we got to shout out, you know, Brit Brat for making it happen.
Brit Brat.
Bianca.
Shout out Brit Brat.
Yes. Appreciate it though. Taking the time. We know you're busy. Been running all over through the summertime, so we definitely appreciate you coming by. Saga Boy though too, so.
Oh yeah, Saga Boy. Gotta be, man.
Listen, man, we want to get into it. We want to start off with your journey. High school, college to the pros. Like, talk about your journey. You know, I think a lot of these young kids today, like, they don't understand the type of work you got to put in, especially if you want to pursue your dream in the NBA. You know, I think that's the ultimate goal for a lot of the kids growing up. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about your journey.
My journey. So, fun fact, I actually went 1 year in Brampton to Cardinal Leger. You know, a lot of my Leger friends say I don't really shout them out, but no, shout out Cardinal Leger. I did go there 1 year. I was a Lancer for 1 year. But after that, I actually went to Mississauga, Father Gates.
Father Gates
for grade 11.
The Gators.
Yeah, the Gators, man. You guys know about the Gators. You know, 07, 08, we pretty much had Mississauga. But we had a great team, a great group of guys. We all pulled together. We all were boys. And, you know, it was a very fun time of high school basketball for all of us. So I started there, and I actually tried out for the baseball team that year, oddly enough. I know.
How?
So I grew up. I know, that's funny. My dad, he always wanted me to be a baseball player. So I played baseball for about 6-7 years.
Okay, how tall were you when you
Let's see. I was 5 years old. I went 5 to about 12. So wasn't really that tall as a 5-year-old, right?
Right,
yeah.
Right.
But once I went to Gates, you know, because my dad was always a baseball fan. So I said, you know, let me give it a shot. Right. So I tried out for the baseball team. I was awful. Absolutely awful. I think I got one hit, got struck out like 5 times, and I missed a fly ball. And when I was in center field, I played first base as well, too. So I realized that baseball wasn't really my calling. And then the basketball coach at the time, Mr. Coolig, came up to me and said, why don't you come try for the basketball team? I was like, all right. So I went, you know, I had a good feel. I was kind of raw. I wasn't as refined offensively as I am now. I was just more of a shot blocker, rebounder, dunk the ball here and there. And, you know, playing with Tyndale, playing with Cooper was on my team, Allen, those guys, Saga boys. I was able to, you know, continue to love the game. And then, you know, I started getting noticed from, you know, scouts from the CIS. And then eventually I started getting scouts coming into the gym from the US.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I saw that, you know, this basketball thing can probably get me a free education.
Yeah.
Right? So
was that the goal first when you started getting good?
That was the goal, because I really wanted to be a doctor. I had a lot of doctors in my family. My mom's been an RN. Wow. Yeah, my mom's been an RN for about 30 years. She actually retired a couple years ago. But I wanted to do something in the medical field. So I was like, you know what? Let me see if this orange basketball can get me a free education so I can go to med school. So after my 4th year, 2007, I graduated 2007, but everyone was telling me, you know, you're pretty good. You know, why don't you come back a 5th year and see if you can, you know, get better, get stronger, and go play down in the US. And I did that. And I was fortunate enough for Bonaventure to come in.
Bonaventure.
Yeah, St. Bonnie's. That's how you pronounce it. St. Bonaventure. I know it's tough for some people out there, but St. Bonaventure. So yeah, Coach Massey came up and he recruited me out of Gates. Told me I had an opportunity to be good. I wasn't highly recruited, actually. It's funny because I remember St. John's was recruiting me for a little bit, Buffalo and Niagara, but they said I didn't really look the part. And then I ended up hitting 2 game winners on them when I was at Bonaventure, which was amazing. Absolutely amazing. You can look it up. I'm not lying. I did. So I was able to go to St. Bonaventure. What really drawed me there was the rich basketball history that they had.
Yes.
And they had actually, this is the nerd coming out of me, they had just built a new science building. Yeah. So that was a big sell for me. I think it was called Delaroche Science Building. So I went down on my visit and I was happy with the basketball stuff, but what really got me was the brand new refurbished building that they got at St. Bonaventure. I'm walking in the building like, oh, look at all this chemistry sets. Look at all this. Oh, this physics lab's amazing. And I'm walking in and they're like, is he really here for basketball? Or does he want to be a scientist? So, yeah, I ended up signing there. And, you know, I knew that they were in a rebuilding program. So I wanted to not just be another player that just goes through a revolving door from a big school. I wanted to go to a smaller school, make an impact, and then leave my mark there while getting an education. So going to St. Bonaventure was absolute no-brainer. We weren't very good the first few years because we were rebuilding. We started adding some good pieces, some younger pieces.
Right.
You know, like we had a young guy named Demetrius, you know.
Were you with Kern? Was it with you at that time?
Steve Kern?
Kern Carter.
No, he wasn't with me at that time, no. Okay. But we had like Demetrius and Matthew Wright, who was another Canadian.
Wright. Shout out Matthew.
Wright. Yeah, that's my guy, man.
Yeah, he's the truth, man.
We had him, Charlon, Daquan. You know, we just kind of meshed together because we played together for so long. And it's funny because my first 2 years, I was just focused on getting the education. But then coach was talking to me, was like, this kid's pretty good. Let's give him some more time. Let's see, he's doing good for the team. I ended up winning A-10 Rookie of the Year the first year.
Oh, wow.
Then second year, I was all second team.
Right.
And then after my second year, coach brought me in the office and he sat me down. I remember that to this day. He said, you know what, Drew, you're pretty good. You have a chance to become a professional if you really put your mind to it.
Right.
And I sat down, I thought about it, and I was like, you know, based on the accolades that I had got at St. Bonaventure, it's like, maybe I should try and go that route instead of the med school stuff, because I know that'll always be there.
Right.
But I feel as though if everyone's seeing that I have the ability to do a profession where I can make a lot of money, take care of my family, and make a difference in the lives that have helped me got to there, that was a no-brainer to do.
Right.
So from then on, I kept, well, actually, freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, I pretty much never came home. I did summer school because I was a chemistry major at first. So I had 3 labs a week while playing in the NCAA, 3 chemistry labs. And it's funny because like not a lot of basketball players are taking that kind of classes. So when I walked in the first day, they thought, you know, are you in the right class? I was like, it's just Chem 101, right? I'm like, yeah, this is the right one. So I got paired with my partner. He was starting to get pissed off a little bit because like when we had a road game, he'd do the lab by himself, or he'd have to wait for me to come back to do the lab. So I remember one time I came back at like 9 p.m. We had to go all the way into the lab, and we were there from like 12 to 3 just to finish it because it was due the next day. Right. So after the talk with Coach Schmidt, I decided to do something relatively lighter in load. Then I switched to physics.
Okay.
So physics is lighter.
Still tough.
Yeah. Well, the thing about physics is that it's more theory. So I had 1 lab a week, and it's more like theory stuff, like writing, like reading and all that stuff.
Okay.
Measurements. But I wasn't having the task of actually going into lab every week. So doing the summer classes lightened the load for me during the season, which was advantageous for me in a sense where I wouldn't have to have 5 classes and then go to practice and then have that heavy workload at night. I would have 2 to 3 classes, go to practice, and then have a lighter workload. So the time management was a huge thing for me in college.
That's tough.
Yeah, the time management is what really got me to where I was. And then after my 3rd year, I had agents calling me. They're like, oh, yeah, you can go late 2nd round. Why don't you come out now? Why don't you come out now? So I talked to my parents, and they were like, well, you did 3 years. Why don't you just stay another one and get that degree that you worked so hard for?
Right.
And I was like, you know what? You're right. And I said, I can come back a 4th year, get my degree, get stronger, get bigger, get better, and see if I can go even higher in the in the draft.
If they're saying a late 1st round pick with another year, I'm in the middle of the pack, closer to the lottery.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I stayed back, worked on my game. I shot hundreds and hundreds of jump hooks in the summertime. Because so at St. Bonaventure Summer School, it's dead. It's literally dead. There's nothing to do. It's a small town, Olean, New York. Probably about 13, 15,000 people in the city. So there's really nothing to do. It's just school and the gym.
Right.
So I do my summer session, 2 hours of class. I just go to the gym, just shoot hooks, left, right. That's how my hook is like what it is now because I had so much repetition.
Right.
It's really what it is. It's a lot of the big hands help a lot too, but the repetition is really what it was. So being able when I did that, I was able to move up in the ranks because at Bonaventure that 4th year we won the school's first ever A-10 championship.
First ever,
yeah.
That's tough.
First ever.
We're talking about who didn't Tim Wynn go there? Tim Wynn?
I think he did, yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking about Tim Wynn. We got all these Canadians that went there, Vidal, Kern.
Yeah.
Wow, the first one.
First one ever, yeah.
That's
we won.
Tough.
And that was like
tough.
a big thing in school history. And then, that kind of put the program on the map because then we went to the NCAA. Unfortunately, we lost to Florida State. But
round?
First round, we lost by 2 or 3. That was heartbreaking.
Who was at Florida State at that time?
Oh, man.
Was it
There's a guy named Bernard James, I think. You remember him?
James?
He served in the Navy, I think, or something like that, in the Army. I'm not really sure. But
Bernard James.
It's kind of an older guy. Yeah. And then they had a couple other bigger guys too. But we were right there. Then we would have played Cincinnati next. I think we probably would have gotten that game. Then would have been Sweet 16.
Yeah.
But we made a lot of progress from where I was when we started to where we are at that time.
Because even the team with Vidal Messiah, when he was at St. Bonaventure, they went to the tournament. I believe they lost to Kentucky. I'm not sure which round, but they lost to the Wildcats. But they didn't win the A-10 tournament.
Right, yeah. So we got the first. We just got the A-10 tournament that
year. Yeah.
Okay. So we had to set the tone for that, and that kind of put me on the map. And I saw my name was going somewhere in the first round, so I hired an agent.
Were you player of the year in the conference?
I was player of the year. That's right. Yes.
Can't skip that.
Yeah.
Come
on.
You can't skip that.
Forgot about that.
Come on. That's a big.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I was an A-10 player of the year that year. Yeah.
We can say it loud, man.
Yeah. So we got a lot of buckets that year. Won that award. I went on with Priority Sports, Mark Bartelstein and Andy Schiffman. I'm still with them to this day.
Tough agent.
Yeah. For 11 years, and they set up a lot of workouts for me. The pre-draft workouts where you worked out against a lot of the guys who were in the same draft class as me. I had a great workout with a lot of teams, and then Orlando picked me in first round at number 19. They needed a big guy to come in and see what they can do, and they were in a rebuilding process as well too.
Orlando,
yeah.
Who was with you on that Orlando team as a rookie?
That team as a rookie, I had Kylo Quinn. I remember.
Yep, I know him.
Mark, Maurice Harkless,
right?
Daquan Jones, and Deron Lamb. So we had a lot.
Deron Lamb. He was a Kentucky kid.
Yeah,
I believe. Yeah. Okay.
So we had a lot. We had a lot of rookies.
Had
a lot of rookies. Yeah.
Okay.
And then that was when my Orlando journey started. Had a great rookie year. I played in the rookie sophomore All-Star game, which was fun. Had another good second year, third year, fourth year. Played my ass off. Got a second contract with the Washington Wizards. Then went to Brooklyn.
Hold up. I want to talk about. I want to go back to St. Bonaventure real quick. Yeah. I want to get back. We're gonna go to the rookie year as well, but your name was swirling around in the media because of Draymond Green. He called you out. We're talking about 11 years ago, right? 11 years ago.
A long time ago. Yeah.
11 years ago.
Yeah.
And he still has it in his brain to, he's upset about all the guys who were drafted before him. Cool, use it as motivation first couple of years. But now we're talking about this guy's been on like 2-3 max contracts, and he's still. So he said it. I'll say word for word on how he said it. He was on Podcast P. So that's Paul George's podcast. Yes. So he goes, listen, not to throw salt on anybody, but Andrew Nicholson was drafted over me at number 19, Green said. Like, you don't even know how to pronounce his school. At the time, you are comparing us as big men who can play back to the basket and face up. And I'm like, I'm number one. He don't even look like a basketball player. So
yeah.
When people from the outside looking in, right? We're not NBA guys. You actually were a part of that. When we're talking about NBA, we're looking at that as a family, like fraternity, or like a frat. You know, guys, like how much players in the NBA in a year? Like 400 and something guys.
Yeah.
So people don't get that opportunity to make it. So we're looking at like, what was the purpose for him to say something like that? Like, what was it necessary? We're talking about 11 years now. Like, was it necessary? Like, he's done made all his money. We're talking about several contracts. You did your thing. You made your money. Again, second contract with the Wizards. You have to have played well to get a second contract.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of guys after their rookie year don't get that second contract.
They don't make it, I know.
They don't make it. Like, you've done it. Right? You had a great career, still playing.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about those comments?
Honestly, it's kind of unfortunate, and I see it as an insecurity on his end. For I didn't know he was thinking about me for the last 11 years. I wasn't thinking about him. I'm going to be honest with you. B, I didn't really realize St. Bonaventure was a really hard name to pronounce. Maybe it's a good thing I stayed 4 years in college. That's why I can do it. But I have a good program in my 44 Hoops nonprofit where we do have these kind of phonics things where we can actually help them out with that. I got no problem doing that. But the most unfortunate part about it is that for me as an individual, as a person, I see the guys in my draft class, like Anthony Davis and Damian Lillard, those guys who are actually succeeding. He was one of them. Draymond was one of them too. I was happy to see him succeed, but I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I was raised, but I like seeing guys do well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, even if they are drafted above me, they're drafted below me. That's just my kind of personality. And I'm happy to see that he's gotten 2 max contracts. I have to see Damian Lillard is thriving. I have to see AD won a ring. He's playing with the Lakers. But, when someone has kind of that insecurity and it doesn't want to see someone else do well or is questioning 11 years later why this guy was before me, it's kind of disappointing. And for him to use this platform to do that, not just to me or to anybody, he said some outlandish thing throughout his whole career. He's done outlandish thing. Being a kind of an example is not probably his strength for people who maybe look up to him or people who are seeing his platform. But it's an unfortunate thing, and I hope he heals from that. I'm sorry that you think that I shouldn't have been drafted, but to be granted, I've had a great college career.
Absolutely.
I was A10 player of the year.
It was so great you forgot about A10 player of the year.
I was a Hall of Fame, St. Bonaventure. My jersey's retired over there. I'm still playing, but
just had an hour-long speech over there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, I remember. Yeah, but it's unfortunate. I wish no ill will on the guy. I'm not a guy who's gonna basically throw salt on someone per se, but I hope that for him as an individual and person that he can grow from that and learn that you shouldn't actually say those things about your fellow draftmates or fellow players for that aspect. Focus on your game, focus on your family, because there's guys before me who were drafted and they're not playing, but I'm not going to say that, why was he drafted? I'm happy he had the opportunity to get his money. That could have helped his family. That could have helped his career. That could have helped anything that he can do to give back. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's a Canadian me. I don't know. But I hope he heals.
That's what I felt. Like, I just felt like, me being a Canadian, like, I'm happy for all of us.
Yeah.
Like, anybody who I wasn't fortunate to go to the league, you know? I see you doing it. I'm happy. Not even knowing you. Andrew Nicholson made it. Yes.
Appreciate that.
I just love the fact that all of us are doing well. So when I see somebody like just throwing salt for no reason, I felt it was just unnecessary, tasteless for me anyways. So I'm glad that,
oh yeah,
we're okay with that.
Because everybody was messaging me, oh, did you see what Draymond said? I was like, yeah, but I'm not gonna, they say, you should clap back. I'm like, in all honesty, I'm not gonna clap back at someone who's going to that level and someone who's obviously significantly less intelligent than who I am.
Yeah.
And I say that with no malice or hate. I just don't go to that level. And I just hope he heals from that.
Okay.
And I'm sorry that 11 years later, you're still thinking about me. I hope you can forget about me this year. But If you need help, I can send you a 44 Hoop shirt or whatever you need. Bro.
We got a therapist that can help him.
Yeah, we got therapists. Yeah. We got a lot actually in our program. That's what we do, man. We're all about mental health at 44 Hoops.
Yes.
And he's always welcome to subscribe whenever he's ready.
There you go. Now we're gonna go back to the Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
Like you signed an extension, or you got a contract extension with the Wizards. How was it with your time with Washington?
Washington was good. I mean, I was there not for a very long time, but the fact that I was able to get that second contract because of the amazing fourth year that I had,
right?
I was like, I signed it. And I was like, wow, like I'm doing well. But the thing about the NBA is that sometimes you get caught up in the bubble and don't really get to see the outside picture. Like, for example, there was a time where I wasn't playing after I signed the contract. I was pissed. I was sad.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, why am I not playing? Oh, can I swear here? Is that good? Oh, my bad.
We're good. We're good.
I was like, man, I'm not playing. So like, what do I do? So I sat there. I was like, not really into the games, and you can kind of see it a little bit. Like even my friends were saying, Drew, like you're not enjoying yourself. And I had to realize, like, I forgot that, like you are actually in the league. Whether you're playing or not, you're in the NBA making a lot of money. So there was a point where I was starting to get better, started cheering for your teammates and doing anything. But I think at that point was where the team started doing very well, going in one direction, and they sent me over to Brooklyn after that. So I went to Brooklyn, which was already a rebuilding team. They already had their roster.
Yeah.
And I remember Brooklyn told me that they were going to come back, they're going to bring you back and doing all this. Obviously, it's a business. And I believed them, so I ended up getting a place in Brooklyn. Then I find out 3 weeks later after I got the place, oh, you got traded to Portland. I'm like, oh my God. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking about the place I literally just got. You know
still have the place?
Yeah, no, I got rid of it. Thank God. I put a trade clause in there.
Right.
Yeah, but so then my agent called me and he said, we have some news for you. I was like, Mark, is it good or bad? He said, it's not the greatest, but you can use it to your advantage. So the $26 million contract I signed from Washington, I got the first year's worth, obviously, but the remaining money was going to put Portland over the salary cap because at that time, that everybody on that team was paid. And they weren't going to pay a luxury tax to keep me, supposedly. I would have been fine waving a towel. It's okay. But so they decided to waive and stretch the remaining money for 7 years. So even to this day, I'm still getting that money, which is fine.
Hey,
but
amen to that.
Yeah, I know.
Amen
Shout out
that.
Portland.
Yeah.
So he said, there's an opportunity for you to go to China.
But before you go to China, I want to know, because first Orlando, Wizards, Brooklyn, then Portland. I want to know your toughest. Like, what was your welcome to the NBA moment? Like, as far as a player, like, damn, this guy's really what I seen on TV. What was your moment?
I remember when, shoot.
I know you're a LeBron guy over Jordan. I see some of your stuff.
Yeah,
I'm not really a big fan of that, but because you got Jordans on your feet. But
I do got Jays. I know. I love them both, but I'm always a LeBron guy. I played against the guy. He's a monster.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But what was that player? Was it facing LeBron?
Well, I didn't really get to guard him as much. I switched on to actually funny story. Oh my God, I was a rookie. We were playing the Miami Heat when they were the Heatles, when they were made Chris Bosh, all those guys. And I remember LeBron, he came off a floppy action. So floppy is when he comes in the middle. He came off a down screen. One of our guys got stuck, so he yelled switch. So I switched on to LeBron. He caught the ball. And as a rookie, like, I look up to LeBron, right?
Right.
I looked at him and I was like, oh shit. And he saw me and he heard me say it. So he smirked. He smirked. He did like an in and out dribble, step back, hit it off the backboard. I watched it go and I was like, damn. Then I was running back and he just smacked me on the back. Like, nice try. That was my superstar moment because I was always a LeBron fan.
Right.
And
what about as far as facing any big guys? Like
big guys?
Your position.
Al Jefferson whooped my ass. I remember that.
He was tough,
Utah Al Jefferson.
Yes.
So
out of high school, yeah.
Utah Al Jefferson. We played.
He just had like so many different. His pivot game was crazy, and he just had that hook shot that he'd always just Always go in.
I know, yeah.
Like, no, you're not making that. Go in.
Yeah. DeMarcus Cousins, when he was in Sacramento, he was tough.
Bully.
And the worst thing is that with him, he's good. But when he's kicking your ass, he's talking shit, man. And it's like, you can't do anything about it, You're like shut up. But he's super talented, big guy.
Right.
At that time, he could literally do everything. He did everything for Sacramento, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, Tim Duncan, he was a great matchup.
You got the matchup against Timmy?
I did actually. Yeah, he was super fundamental. As good as he looks, man. He's good, bro.
Yeah,
he looks great on the court with his moves, fundamental, and then it goes.
Hell of a defender, huh?
Yeah, hell of a defender too.
Yeah,
it was great.
That's wild. You had some stories.
Yeah, it was good.
You got some stories.
KG was a good one too. I remember we were playing Boston.
He talks a lot of trash.
He talks so much. Oh my gosh. It was in Boston, right? And he made a move. He shot a hook or like turnaround jumper, and he started yelling at me. So I went down. I got the ball. I made a move, shot a hook over him, and I started yelling back. And I was running down the court. I was like, man, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have done that, because he just started chirping.
Yeah.
And then, man, I was in for another 5 minutes, and I got subbed out. And I was like, man, I did not want to hear this guy talking. But he's a legend,
Yeah,
he's a big ticket, legend.
Definitely.
Playing against those guys is amazing.
Right. So going back to the CBA in China, how did that opportunity come about? But I also want to know the difference, like, as being an NBA player and then playing over there, like.
Oh, so that opportunity came. So the goal was to sign in China, season will end early, and then you'll probably get a chance to hop on a playoff team.
Yes, right.
But I was put on a good team, so we didn't end early. Yeah. And so when I first got there,
plan didn't work already.
I know. When I first got there, it was tough. The first month and a half was tough. 2 months, because you're in China. It's complete 180 degrees of how the lifestyle we have here. The food's different, the environment's different, the language barrier. So you had to be open-minded to actually get used to that. So for me, the first shock was, because in the NBA, they did everything for us. They took our shoes, they did our laundry, we had great food, they did everything for us. I go to China, and I remember after practice, I go to our translator, because we have a translator, his name is Andy. And I have my uniform and my shoes. I was like, so what do I do with these? Where do I put them? He looked at me. He's like, you got to wash them. I was like, what? I was like, I got to wash them? And he was like, yeah, and you got to carry your shoes. And I was like, what if I lose my shoes? Then you're in trouble. You don't play. I was like, oh, man. So that was a humbling experience. The food is different. I'm eating noodles, fried rice, and bread before the game, because I wasn't used to the cuisine that they have. I'm used to it now. But when I first got there, it was a culture shock. So that kind of threw me off my game, because I'm usually eating like fresh pasta, grilled chicken,
Good stuff,
all that good stuff. But now I'm eating fried noodles, toast with jelly. You know what I mean? So that threw me off. But it was a good thing that happened, because it was humbling. Because in the NBA, you get to a point where you forget the little things that everybody really does to you. Like some days I would see, and I was guilty of it myself, like if your breakfast wasn't cooked well, you get thrown off. Something as little bit as that, something little like that will sometimes throw you off. But then you start to realize the guys who washed your laundries, the guys who carried your shoes, the chefs who made your food. I had a great appreciation of that. I remember I actually messaged our guy from Orlando after China, and I was like, man, thanks. You know what I mean? I was like, thank you for all that you did, because I had to do it myself and play. Right. So it was a very, very humbling experience. And after the first 2 months, during those first 2 months, the first ones, it was tough, because I didn't really leave the hotel. There obviously everything is restricted over there, Google, Instagram, YouTube. So I wasn't really doing much. Crazy. Couldn't watch what was on TV, because I didn't know what they were saying. So I had to start being open-minded. I had to start learning to get out of my comfort zone, hang out with my teammates, eat the food that they do, try to learn the language, embrace the culture.
Right.
And I remember after one of the games, I think it was a Shaanxi game that we played against there, I went out with my teammates. And I was like, these guys are kind of cool. I don't understand what they're saying. I'm a translator here, but they're kind of cool. So I go to them, I'll be like, hey, teach me some Mandarin. So they teach me some words. They gave me a nickname. They say, this is that. And then we started to bond. Then we started to go have dinner more. We started to go hang out more. And then I was like, this is kind of cool. And then being in China, being as the import, a lot of the onus, all the onus is on you actually. So
is there only one import in China?
There's two.
Two, okay.
But my time, 2 can play in the first quarter, then it's 1-1, and then 2 can play in the first quarter.
First quarter.
2 in the second, then 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth.
What?
Yeah, only one. Yeah, it's a weird rule. I know.
Yes.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll be taking all the shots. You know what I mean?
So what happens in the fourth? Do they just would they just try to sub you guys? Keep subbing?
They just sub us
It would make
out.
sense if they both can stay in the fourth.
Yeah. But then we'll literally take all the shots. You know what I mean? So they want the Chinese to get better as well, too. To have the ball, be able to play against, have repetitions, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah. So, when I was there, playing in that league, you have to score, and that's something that I do.
Yeah,
like you play a little defense, but you got to score, and if you don't score, it's gonna be a lot on you. Right. So, I embraced that. You had to be the guy on the team to help the team be better, and I myself got better. So the player development was different than how it was from the NBA, and I had to hold myself accountable of getting better because the competition was a lot different than what it was in the NBA. So you're going into practice and you're going to destroy the guy in front of you, right? So how do you approach that? Do you just go through the motions or do you challenge yourself? Like, okay, today I'm going to get 10 rebounds, or today I'm going to score this many points, or today I'm going to have this many passes. And that's the approach that I took. Okay. I challenged myself individually to see what I can do. There were practices where I wouldn't shoot. I would just try to get a certain amount of assists or just try to rebound. Yeah. And that kind of got my passing better. Yeah. Y'all think I don't pass, but I do. I promise you.
I always try to tell guys, it's like a game. Like if you know that you're the top player, it's kind of like work on your game within the game. Yeah. Like you said, try to work on your passing. Exactly. If my pull-up game is weak, let me try to work on my pull-up in this game. Okay, I got you.
And then you have to hold yourself accountable. So after practice, when you're tired, still get your shots up. I still get my 100 threes. After every practice, I get now it's about 200-300, but I get about 100 threes. I used to get 100 threes after every practice. Mandatory. That was my clock out. And I would do 50 hooks before practice, But mentally, you have to be able to be disciplined to be able to do that. Right. And you got to be consistent. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. Yeah. And I see, unfortunately, a lot of guys come over there and they think, yeah, China's sweet. It's easy. I mean, yeah, but if you're not working hard, you can get lost in that. And then it'll catch up to you.
Why has it become so popular? Like China, I want to say one of the first guys I've known to really go over there was Stephon Marbury. He's a legend out there. I heard he has a statue.
Yeah, he's a pioneer.
I think he's coaching now.
He's coaching the Beikong team. Yeah.
Okay. Why is China so popular? Especially with all the restrictions and stuff like that. Wouldn't Italy, or something like that, like Turkey, one of those places, wouldn't it be a better option to go to? Why? Because China's popular. We got so much guys. Yourself, Marbury. Yeah. I think Beasley was out there. OJ Mayo. What's the kid from he was Arkansas. He's still playing out there. He used to play for the Raptors. Oh man, Arkansas. He's from Arkansas.
The Dreads?
No, he doesn't have dreads. Oh, I forget his name. Yeah. He used to play for the Raptors when DeMar DeRozan and those guys were there. He was out there as well. Yeah. Why has it become so popular, like China?
I think Marbury started a trend because usually when you're done in the NBA, that's like the next stop because it's still a lot of money over there that they give you, and it's a short season. Right. So, but like I said, the competition isn't necessarily where the NBA in Europe is, but the money's good and it's a short season. But I think personally, the biggest competition that you have out there is against yourself because you have to hold yourself accountable, knowing that you're going to go in and you have to get yourself better. You can't rely on other factors to get you better because, a lot of the times you're going to be better than the competition. But how do you consistently do that? If I know I'm going to, for instance, and no offense to you, if we're playing one-on-one and I know that I'm going to win, what am I going to do? Every single time. Some guys will be chill. Like, yeah, I'm going to go in. It's going to be quick. Boom, done. No,
Right.
I personally want to challenge myself. Like, how am I going to do this?
Got you.
And when you're consistent,
mm-hmm.
that's when you're going to start reaping the benefits of it.
Okay. So you said about
we got to do ones though after I said that. You know?
I got you. Yo, so as far as the money, right? You said China plays well.
Yeah.
So, me as a former player, I played in Europe myself. Sometimes in Europe, you're not always paid on time or maybe paid at all.
Yeah.
How does it work in China? Have you ever had any issues with the money getting paid?
Fortunately, the only issue I had was it just being a little bit late. They've been very good.
Right.
So my agent makes sure that I'm on clubs that pay 100%, but sometimes it's a little late. I don't mind. As long as I get it,
yes,
I'm good. I remember the first year I went there, I almost didn't go to practice because it was a week and a half late. And I called my agent. I was like, Andy, I'm not going. They haven't paid me. He's like, just go relax. This is what overseas life it is. So I was like, took a deep breath. I walked in, did my thing, and the money came. But you just got to be patient. As long as if you're a good guy and you are a good teammate and good to the guys at the club, they'll work with you. But if you go in with an attitude, like you think you're better than them and do that, it's going to be difficult collecting your money.
But why? What is the reason for them to be late with the money though? Like if you're supposed to get paid on the 15th, like why is it not there? Like what did they tell you why isn't it? Like what's the reason?
Well, like from my experience, they say that they wire it on the 15th and then there's a holdup for it to come to my account. So
sounds a little sketchy right there.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what I was told. I was like, you know what? Okay,
as long as you're there.
Okay, right. And they're like, he gets it. I'm like, yeah, I get
it. Yeah. So you're still playing 11 years as a pro.
Yep.
Not a lot of people can say that. You've been injury as far as you've been good as far as injuries. What's next for you? With their career, are you going back to China next year, or? I
mean, that's the plan. Still free agency now. I had a fantastic year last year with the Bay Area Dragons. That was a club that was honestly the most, oh my God, the most fun year I've had.
Right.
Yeah, we were a Chinese team, but we were based in Manila. So we lived in the BGC, that's like the Metro Manila area. We were at the Shangri-La for 7 months. Our gym was in the Shangri-La. Our facility, our workout stuff was like an Equinox style gym. We have 2 floors, cold tub, hot tub, massage, physical therapy, everything, all in the gym. Great food, great coach, great teams, great club. So I had a great time with them. So like I said, still a free agent now. And I'll know where I'm going within the next few weeks. But like I said, playing 11 years is fun. You just got to take care of your body. I'm really big into, what I put in my body, nutrition-wise, how I lift. I always prioritize lifting weights and mobility in the summertime over basketball. That once the season comes, I kind of flip it.
Yes.
So that's enabled me to not get injured. The most injury I've had was, I did hurt my back when I was in Korea. I was out for several weeks, but other than that, just sprained ankle. That was about it.
Sprained ankle.
That was about it. But being able to prioritize the weight room, take care of your body, just like how LeBron does that. He spends all this money on his body, and that's why
crazy,
he's 39, still averaging 28 points.
Yeah,
that's why he's the GOAT. This is on, right? That's why he's the GOAT. He's been doing it the best for the longest. That's listen. That's all I'm saying.
Does that make him? Does that make him the GOAT though?
In my opinion, so for me, the GOAT is because he's. No, and there's no offense to Jordan. I'm a big Michael Jordan fan. I loved MJ. He pioneered the game for us. You know what I mean? I got the J's on. You see me? I love MJ. But just for my personal opinion, I am a huge LeBron fan, not only because what he does on the court, but what he does off the court as well.
Got you.
Clean record. This guy built a school, entrepreneur.
Only blemish is the decision. That's the only blemish that he actually has.
To go to
Miami.
To go to Miami?
That's the only...
Cleveland and Miami, I mean, we would have done it too. But But you know, I remember that decision. I remember watching that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he won 2 rings out of that. You know,
he did what he had to do.
He did what he had to do.
Should have won 4, but that's okay.
Yeah,
that's for another conversation. But back. Are you looking to maybe try to get back into the league? Because I feel like your game is like I believe your game was ahead of its time. Like a stretch 4, stretch 5. You can shoot, handle a little bit, you know, you can hit the threes. So I think that your game is for now.
Yeah.
Right. So I think you'd be perfect in today's game. Like if you were playing for the Phoenix Suns, you could stretch that floor. You could play with KD. You know, you can play with Booker.
Yeah.
You know, hit the corner threes.
Yeah.
You're good. So is that maybe an option for you, or you know, you're gonna close that door and focus on maybe Europe?
A couple of reasons. I mean, I'm not looking to get back because I'm happy where I am. I love being in Asia.
That's all that matters.
I love it. It's like when I went to China and when I started to actually embrace everything, I started to really love it. I got used to the lifestyle. Yeah. I did get used to the food. I made a lot of good friends, good friendships, relationships, everything out there. I've met great people. It's a shorter season. I'm able to enjoy Asia during like the FIBA breaks, you know, because I'm not able to come back here. It's 14 hours. That's unreal. So I'll usually go to like Thailand. I'll go to Bali. I actually just got a place in Bali recently, and I loved it so much. I had to. So that's down there. Samia Villa. Check us out online. And yeah, I mean the NBA is great, but I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm still making, you know, great amount of money doing it and making good friends. And Portland's still paying me. So.
Shout out Portland.
I'm a Blazers fan.
I want to talk about Canada basketball. They just released their roster. You know, I don't see too many bigs. Like I do see what's his name? The shooter, big guy, played with the Pistons. Forget his name. But why don't I see Andrew Nicholson's name on that roster?
I think there is a lot of variables. I've played for them for 10 years.
Yes.
And I think they have their core younger group that they want to go with. Obviously, you know, they want to play more of like a small ball style. There's a lot of guards. We have a lot of great guards, a lot of great talent. And I think that they can probably fill the gaps. But, you know, international ball, as you know, you need to have a forward.
Yes.
You know, someone who can score down because it's, you know, it's 5 fouls, the game's shorter, the rules are a little bit different. You need to have someone who can shoot. I'm always available, but, you know, I'm never going to force the issue. If my name is called, I will gladly go.
So is that something that you just got to wait for the call, or would you reach out?
No, I wouldn't necessarily reach out, but I will never say no to Canada because I've done 10 years with them, obviously.
Yes.
You know, I've given a lot of my time, a lot of sweat, a lot of effort and discipline for it. And just whenever, I'm just there whenever you need me.
I think Kelly Olynyk, and I think the kid Alexander, I think those are the 2 bigs. He can stretch the floor.
They got Dwight too, Dwight Powell.
But so he can't. Dwight can't really stretch the floor.
Okay, got you. Yeah.
He can't really stretch. Yeah. And I think international basketball, that's
you
so key.
Really need that in international basketball because all teams is gonna zone you.
Kelly can handle that part, but you know they need another. So that's why I thought that you would be able to fit pretty well with this squad here.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, like I said, I'm not the decision maker, but I'm always available. I'm in the gym. I'm working out. I'm ready for my my next season, which is actually a priority because you know that's the club that's actually compensating me to play with them. You know what I mean? So it's a blessing for me either way to play or not to play, but me not being able there enables me to focus more on my entrepreneurship and the businesses that I have going on right now.
Yes. So that's where I want to lean towards now. You know, we're talking about your businesses, man. You got Rumble Cookie.
Rumble Cookies, guys. Oh,
July 28th.
July 28th, Heartland Town Center.
There we go.
3:00, grand opening. We actually just had the VIP event last weekend. Amazing.
I'm a little disappointed we didn't get the invite. But, you know.
Yeah, we got to talk to Crumble about that.
But why'd you get into Crumble? I know you mentioned a few things offset, but why Crumble? Cookie?
So I've in the past, I've dabbled in the restaurant industry a bunch of times, and I remember my old teammate Tobias Harris. We were very close in Orlando.
Yes.
We'd eat together, we'd hang out together. Very good guy, very good entrepreneur. He called me, and he told me about Crumble because he has, I think, 2 or 3 in Philadelphia.
Oh wow.
Then he was interested in expanding, and I was like, "Well, why don't we bring it to Mississauga? Being a Saga guy, I gotta put us on the maps and bring it over here." So I remember he came up here. I think it was last summer, and we were doing some site visits to see which locations will be good. And Heartland Town Center was a no-brainer, and I'm glad to be able to be a part of that. I'm glad that he invited me to be a part of the Crumble family as well too, because they're a great group of people. I met the owner, I met the staff, I met everybody on there last weekend. It's ran like a family. I think this is actually going to be one of my most exciting adventures that I'm going to have.
Right.
That and the gym.
Right in Mississauga.
Right homegrown, right? Yes. So it's gonna be a blast. I know there's gonna be a lot of people excited for it. A lot of people are already messaging me for it. So, July 28th.
July 28th.
We'll see you at Heartland Town Center, 3:00. Don't be late.
Don't be late.
There's gonna be a lot of cookies there. I might go in there and make some myself. I don't know, man.
You mentioned a gym. Is that something else? Another project that you have? You want to discuss that?
Yeah. I mean, I want to continue to make courts available for people in the community, because I didn't really have that when I was growing up. So it's a big surprise coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, it's a big surprise coming.
Leave it at that.
Surprise coming, yeah.
Drew, I appreciate you, brother.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
This was great, man. I know you're a busy guy, all this stuff going on. I appreciate you taking that time to sit down with us on the couch, man, in Mississauga, man.
Appreciate it, man. Had to, man. It's Mississauga guy right here. Had to, man,
sir. Listen, man. Thank everybody who's been supporting us. Continue to keep supporting us. Like, share, comment, all that stuff. Continue to keep, looking at our website. We got amazing articles. Keep booking us. Book us. We are a vibe. Keep following us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, all that great thing, man. Shout out to Title League, man. Distant Cousins. Don't forget about Apple Podcasts as well. If you don't wanna watch it, you can listen to it on your way to work or wherever you're going, man. Hip Hop Hoops. Let's go!